Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by SEO SAMBA. Comprehensive high-performing marketing solutions for mature and emerging franchise brands. To supercharge your franchise marketing, go to SEOSamba.com. That's SEOSAMBA.com.
Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio. Stone Payton Lee Cantor here with you this morning. Today's episode is brought to you in part by the Business Radio X Studio Partner Program, equipping franchisors to help franchisees dominate their local market. For more information on leveraging the Business Radio X platform to help more people and make more money, go to mybrxstudio.com. Lee, this is going to be a fantastic segment. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast CEO and founder with Premium Service Brands, Mr. Paul Flick. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, Paul, before we get too far into things, tell us about Premium Service Brands. How are you serving folks?
Sure. So Premium Service Brands is a holding company for 6 individual franchise systems, all in the home service industry, from painting to garage doors, handyman, kitchen organization, wood and concrete restoration, and then maid service as well. So cover a wide range of services to the home.
Now, how did this start? Did you start with one of them and just kind of organically evolved into the other services?
Yeah, correct. So I started with 360 Painting back in late 2006. And then from there, I organically started 2 other franchise systems, which is Handyman Pro and ProLift Garage Doors. And then we've done 3 acquisitions as well, which is Made Right was our first one. Second one was Kitchen Wise. And the most recent one is Renew Crew. So it's been a combination of organic growth and then growth through acquisition as well.
Now, when you started in the business, did you always think that this is going to be a franchise empire you're building, or was it just like, hey, let me just get this painting thing going?
No, always had the vision of having multiple franchise brands with the same end user. So it was painting. I knew painting. I knew franchising at the time, but always had the vision that wanted multiple brands so we could scale and leverage our end user, which is a middle to upper income single family homeowner. And once we had one service we were providing to that end user, we're able to provide them additional services by cross selling and marketing to them.
So once you crack the code on how to reach and serve this homeowner, then all these complementary services just organically makes sense. It's just part of the evolution of your company.
Exactly. So if we, happen to be painting your house, then you're somebody who will outsource and hire companies to provide services on your home. So if we've got a happy customer that's being serviced by 360 Painting, that's typically a customer that's going to have another company clean their house or do handyman work around their house. So we're able to, leverage that customer from one service and cross-market and sell to them the other services within our brands.
And then that lowers the acquisition cost of a customer for the other brands.
Absolutely. There's really no additional cost, to get another service. So that does bring down your customer acquisition cost. Absolutely.
And then for you as kind of the empire builder, are you looking always for these complementary services? Like I don't see like landscaping or pool. Are you looking for those other kind of maybe emerging franchises in those spaces so that you can add them to your portfolio?
Yes, always. So we have 2 right now that we're looking at. We just completed, as I said, Renew Crew, 3 weeks ago. And October 1st, we did Kitchen Wise. So we won't do anything immediately, but we do have 2 that we're looking at that we could, possibly bring into the fold in, say, quarter 2.
Now, for you, when you're looking for a franchisee, when you first started, is it different now? Now that you have all these other brands, are you looking for someone that's going to say, okay, maybe I'll start with one, but I'm going to eventually get 2 or 3 more complementary brands as part of their kind of empire they're building in their local market?
Yeah, no question. We're looking for, empire builders, people that are well capitalized, good skill set, through organization, communication skills. And instead of them coming in and say buying, 2 or 3 territories of 360 painting, what I want them to do is share my vision of buy one territory of 360 painting, then, buy a territory which is identical for Made Right, and then kitchen wise and Handyman Pro, and start stacking them, versus going wide and being able to reduce your customer acquisition costs by leveraging that end user.
Now, is there a person that they're hiring kind of the boots on the ground to do the work? Is that same painter, the handyman? Like, are you able to use kind of the same? So these are those employees are totally different? Yeah,
they are. And either some of them are employees, some of them are 1099 contractors. But they are different. They are very specific to their skill. So we've got, cleaners that are just cleaning homes. We've got painters that just paint homes, handyman people that are doing the electrical or the plumbing or installation of flooring. That's a specific, crew as well.
Now, when you're kind of prospecting for the ideal franchisee candidate, how are they revealing themselves to you? Is it, what's the profile of that person?
Somebody who's been a middle to upper management, probably for the last 20, 25 years, has, capital and a skill set for them to properly market the territory, and then obviously be able to drive the business and drive revenue by managing the other, crews that they have.
So if these people are they in typical white collar professions?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say 95% of all of our franchise partners have come from a white collared management background.
Now, how does your training work in terms of getting somebody that's been around an ecosystem of white collar folks to get more of the blue collar folks that are doing the actual labor in their market?
Yeah. So we've got 4 weeks of training whenever we have a new franchise partner come on board. The first week is what we call onboarding. They're introduced to our vendor partners. They're obviously getting onboarded onto our software platform. And things like Career Plug is one vendor partner that we use to get those blue collar workers, as well as leveraging our vendor partners. They know the painters that are looking for work. They know the garage door technicians. So we really leverage our vendor partner. Then we have 2 weeks of virtual training, which encompasses marketing, sales, recruiting. And then we have 1 week of classroom training at our head office in Charlottesville, Virginia. So there's a total of 4 weeks of training. So they're properly prepared, business plan done, recruiting plan, budgets, revenue and sales goals, and then they're ready to execute at the local level after that.
Now, what's the biggest mental shift they have to go through when they are coming from this kind of, sometimes, they're the big brand. They work for a big company that with a logo that the world may know. And then they're going into this and they're kind of Bob, the painting guy. And how do you help them make that shift to kind of reposition themselves in order to serve their local market?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, if you're talking about a brand that's been recognized by the world or, by the community, whether that's Coca-Cola or an IBM, et cetera, when they step out of that, they don't have that structure. And I think that's their biggest fear, because those big companies have a lot of structure around them. So we've built a lot of structure in all of our brands, whether that's driven by software, whether that's a franchise coach that they can talk to, or the 4 weeks of training. So once they get in and they see the structure that's around them, that is what they're looking for, because that's what they came from. But there's a lot of fear before getting into, getting that feeling that there is structure around me and support.
Now, what about the, maybe it's not a real concern but it's a concern that they might have of going from, hey, this is a high prestige. I work for, like you said, IBM or Coca-Cola, and now I'm the painter, like that status shift. How do you help them manage that?
Yeah, as far as they're not the painter, like we're not looking for somebody that wants to get up on a ladder and swing a brush. We want them working on the business, not in it. And we always equate it to what they really are is a sales and marketing company, and the service they happen to be providing is painting or maid service.
Mm-hmm.
So I get why some people look at it and go, oh, 360 painting, I don't want to paint. But that's not what they're doing. They're managing crews, they're executing their marketing plan, they're dealing with customers. So I guess once you get an opportunity to talk with them, that perception changes.
And then do you get these leads? Are they primarily nowadays, I would imagine, through the internet, or do you use franchise brokers? Like, how does that person get on your radar?
Yeah, a combination of both. We are definitely in most of the broker systems, FranChoice, FranNet, FCC. But then we also have our own campaigns where we get them to get franchise prospects direct through our website as well.
And then has anyone cracked the code on making good franchise candidates bubble up? I talk to a lot of franchisors, and that just seems to be something that it's a challenge.
What do you mean bubble up? What do
like
you mean
just
by
like have your pipeline as filled as you'd like them to be.
Oh, for prospects? Or
right, for franchisee prospects.
The actual. Oh, I mean, we've got currently 5 franchise development executives with the company selling all 6 of our brands. We could always be busier, but we've got a great pipeline, and I think I attribute that a lot to, happy, successful franchise partners out there that have a good validation, and, we've got a good reputation for success with franchise candidates.
And then when you started this, you started with one brand and with an eye on multiple. Is the vision going as you anticipated?
It is. Obviously when I started with 360 Painting, it was in late 2006. And then, we had the single biggest downturn since the Great Depression economically. And so that slowed sort of my vision. But, since 2015, when we started ProLift Garage Doors, it's moved fairly rapidly over the last 4 or 5 years, going from really one brand now to 6 brands. So now it is sort of back on track.
Now, any advice for a person that's an emerging franchisor and they're thinking about expanding their brand? Do you this complementary multiple brand strategy seems to have legs for your group? Is that something that somebody should consider?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great. I think what you can leverage and scale by having multiple brands versus a single, brand. There's a lot of opportunity for synergies and becoming more efficient. So I think it's a great business model. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing it. But it requires, a lot of capital, to put something like this in place.
And then when you're building the brand and the persona of the person who uses it, do you kind of have a brand manager for each brand that somebody is kind of looking over and, protecting each brand individually?
We do. Yeah. We call them brand leads. And then we have franchise coaches that are specific to those brands. So what we have is Premium Service Brands becomes a shared entity for marketing, for technology, for accounting, for legal. But the individual brands have brand leads and individual coaches within the brands that are specific to those brands and industries.
So you're treating each one kind of as a unique entity in terms of they have a certain way of doing what they do individually, and you just are able to kind of consolidate some of the operation stuff that they all share.
Yeah.
Right. So then
exactly
that coach might be the expert in garage doors and to help you get your garage door business going. And, the handyman guy might be a little different because that's a different way of doing things.
Yeah, you've got a little different, with each brand. but there's a lot of overlap in terms of the marketing, in terms of the software. All of our brands are on the same platform. So you're able to leverage training, legal, marketing, and you're able to share, if something's working in 360 painting marketing wise, then I want to be able to share those best practices with kitchen wise. So we get a lot of leverage and synergies and best practices out of the shared resources of premium service brands.
And also from the franchisee standpoint, I would imagine it makes their job simpler because they don't have to learn new software for the maid company or new accounting for the painting. Like it's all under the same kind of roof.
That's correct. And then we give them functionality to where they can, do their own drip email campaigns to those customers if they have multiple brands.
So how many brands do you think you're going to end up with when you're closer to the end of the story?
I don't know when the story's over. I'd like to see somewhere between 12 and 15. But I want to make sure that they are complementary, that they have the same end user. And I want to make sure that we're, managing our growth and not stretching ourselves too thin as well. So 12 to 15, probably, in the next 5 to 10 years.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, and congratulations on all the growth and the success.
Well, I appreciate your time, and thanks for having me, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Now, if somebody wanted to learn more about any of the brands, is there a website that kind of gives them the lay of the land of your whole empire?
Yeah, I think the best place to go would be Premium Service Brands, plural, premiumservicebrands.com.
Good stuff. Well, Paul, thank you so much for sharing your story again.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. This is Lee Cantor for Stone Payton. We will see you all next time on Franchise Marketing Radio.